We're gonna have some poetic acts for y'all tonight. Are y'all excited? All right, we got a little energy. Hopefully we get a little more as time goes on. If we have no objections, we're just gonna get started. Can we clap it up for Keith Allison, please?
All right, hello. Pleasure to be here at Ingenuity Fest and Temple of Passions. So I'm gonna start with this piece. It feels like it fits well, Ingenuity Fest. This combination of where art and science and technology meets. And this is a piece about memory. And memory is interesting because you can go through entire years of your childhood and probably not have a single specific memory, but there's other moments that just stand out. You know exactly where you were and what you're doing and what was happening. So this piece is called 10 Things I Remember About January 28, 1986. 1, I didn't yet know that hope could just explode without a warning sign. 2, but I knew Jolie Polano was the cutest girl in school. 3, I wasn't in school that day. 4, I was homesick with my grandmother watching a television with the screen built into its wooden stand. 5, the flash lit the screen. 6, I was naive enough that even when the rocket burst into flames in front of my eyes, I thought it was only a test run because it couldn't have happened if people were on board. 7, my grandmother had to tell me I was wrong. 8, my illusion was not the only thing that shattered that day. 9, my grandmother would last 11 more years in the Challenger, but her demise held warning signs I had since learned to recognize. 10, the warning signs failed to make the loss any easier. Thank you. This one has cards. Homework assignment for anyone who shares any variation of the police won't bother you if you don't break the law. Step 1, outline each law broken by Elijah McClain, include subheadings. Step 2, quote the criminal codes violated by a Tatiana Jefferson, use footnotes. Step 3, brainstorm 12 ways Amadou Diallo could have more legally danced between the 41 bullets fired at him. Be prepared to discuss your thoughts in class. Step 4, write a biography on the 7-year life of Aiyana Jones. Annotate any illegality. Step 5, summarize the penal code infringements of Tamir Rice. Submit via Google Classroom. Step 6, create a Venn diagram to show the intersection of the laws broken by John Crawford and Botham Jean. Step 7, explain in a sonnet how Breonna Taylor could have slept more lawfully. Step 8, list the legal missteps of Philando Castile. Use bullet points. Step 9, write a 12-page research paper on stop and frisk policies, single-spaced. Step 10, create a PowerPoint on the history of racial profiling, cite at least 4 sources. Step 11, multiple choice. Find the law that calls for immediate street execution. A, failure to use a turn signal. B, suspected use of a forged $20 bill. C, accusations of selling cigarettes without a license. D, a broken taillight. Step 12, stand in front of the class and recite the First Amendment. Use Google or Wikipedia if necessary. Step 13, watch at least 10 videos of police turning tear gas and rubber bullets on those exercising their First Amendment rights. Personal reflection, due Monday. Step 14, write a limerick or haiku about the racism and privilege you now see reflected in your mirror. Step 15, repeat until you realize how clueless you sound. Thank you, appreciate that. Pleasure to be with all of you. This next piece is called Plastic Playthings. Snake Eyes, Blowtorch, Roadblock, Superstar Ken, Beauty Secrets Barbie, plastic dolls for kids to accessorize in cotton casual or evening splendor, cheerleader or pajama party. You can dress them up for a day at the beach or march them off to war. Societal gender expectations each sold separately. Because dream houses pronouns are not chosen but assigned, to save little girls from the horrors of a plastic battlefield. And feminism, to save little boys from the horrors of the kitchen. And nonviolent conflict resolution, because you have to fight but never cook to save the day. The difference between Barbies and G.I. Joes was simply which accessories we put in their hands. A boy could play with dolls, we were told, but only if we didn't find them beautiful. Only if we pulled the trigger and used them to kill. You couldn't put Ken in khaki shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and have him go on vacation or spend time with his kids. But if you accessorize Ken in a green shirt and backwards hat, an itchy trigger finger and an AR-15, give him a catchy title like Camouflage Ken or Killer Kyle, as he rides his Barbie beach cruiser across state lines to kill a couple people. You'd finally have a toy deemed fit for a boy. You know, a real American hero. Everything might be fantastic when you're made of plastic. But when the bullets and bodies are real, the figures still lie lifeless on the ground. A little boy still playing with his deadly toys. As white rage and toxic masculinity turn dream houses into nightmares. Thank you very much. My latest book is called Continuity Flaws, and I'm going to give you the title piece. But it works better if you have an understanding of what a continuity flaw is, and I'm a film geek myself, so that's kind of an area for me, but not everybody is. So a continuity flaw, you're aware of it, even if you don't have a title for it. When you're watching a movie, you're watching television, it's an accidental inconsistency, where you're watching from one angle and the lamp's over here, the hair's bobbed this way, and all of a sudden you cut to another angle, and the lamp's moved or gone, or the amount of water in the glass or wine in the glass is different. And it's because they broke for lunch, or they filmed it 3 weeks later, whatever, and they're trying to recap it, doing everything perfectly. And if we like the story enough, we tend to overlook the continuity flaws. And that's what my book and much of my work is based around, these differences between the values we profess as individuals, as a society, and the actions that we take. America burst out of our elementary school books with glorious fanfare, fife, and drum flag waving in the air. Looking dapper in a red bow tie, tails, and top hat, or dressed for battle, red boots, red gloves, indestructible circular shield. Either way, making sure to highlight those broad stripes and bright stars. Stand, we are told, hand proudly over heart, pledging blind allegiance to the virtuous defender of this land of the free, this home of the brave. The amber waves of grain, the open arms, the tempest tossed, the country, we are told, God shed his grace upon. Self-proclaimed hero of our own storybook, regurgitated repeatedly into school children's unquestioning ears, grooming good little patriots. But with closer inspection, with the benefit of time, we came to see the blood dripping from the shield, the stolen land beneath our feet. We learned that what we shared with the Indians, despite parading our paper pilgrim hats in the hallway, was smallpox and the bullet end of a rifle. Our captain, America, was trading slaves and sewing white hoods, always in the way of progress, always protecting the patriarchy. Preemptive attacks, misplaced retaliation, oil wars and arms deals, for-profit prisons, children in cages, the tempest tossed away. Our claim to be the hero of the story started to conflict with the body count. Liberty and justice for all, but hollow words on a page still waiting to be realized. America, the superhero, revealed to be just another comic book fantasy with continuity flaws. So a lot of why I write poetry, you may have guessed, if you've been with me for 4 poems or whatever it is so far, is just reactions to a world around me that feels unjust, excessively over and over and over again to humans and non-humans alike. And poetry is kind of the reason I'm not just standing outside my door screaming. And so I appreciate y'all being here so I can use art instead of just screaming out of my back door. Thank you. I wrote this next piece, I'll give you two more, I think. I wrote this next piece as a response to Texas when they passed the Heartbeat Act into law. And I wish it had become less relevant since then, but clearly it is not. Shouting frantic hyperbole over some non-existent attack on the right to bear arms, while what you truly came for was the right to their wound. The thief in the night, the snake oil salesman, the father who still thinks he knows best. 67 years later, the television sitcom, still the perfect title for the poison of patriarchy. Father knows best. You've always convinced yourself, as you reminisce of the days when your TV screen was black and heavy on the white. Father knows best how to run your segregated 1950s life, your quaint little home, closet doors kept tightly shut. Father knows best how to sit in his easy chair, newspaper in hand, and demand obedience. 20 years before Jane Roe's left hook sent Henry Wade and all of Dallas County to the mat. When you came to, you were bruised and scarred from the knockout blow. The court having the audacity to tell you someone's uterus did not belong to you. You've been plotting your revenge ever since. Father knows best. You still declare, even decades into the 21st century. Father knows best about fallopian tubes he does not have, about a clitoris he never even bothers to find. Father knows best as you continue to glorify the father of our country who thought he could own and control the entire bodies of hundreds of humans. Father knows best. The father of your party grabbed him by the pussy, and you decided you had the right to do the same. Father knows best. Say 4,392 Catholic priests. I guess fathers still can't keep their hands to themselves. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to do one last piece for you. It is a pleasure to be here at Ingenuity Fest. A pleasure to be here with Temple of Passions. The Queen of TOP just had a birthday. Make sure you wish Kierra McDade a happy birthday. She is amazing, and certainly no one taking the stage would be up here tonight without her. It is an honor to share the stage with Autumn Marie, with Adam Spells, with CocoaWeaponry. Please stick around because they will blow you away. All right, I am Keith Allison. You can find me on Angry Cow Poetry on just about most social media platforms or angrycowpoetry.com, or catch me after later if you want to talk some more, find more of my stuff. Last piece for today. I'm trying to write a happy poem. So I sit watching the beauty of the fireflies rapidly flashing through the trees. I'm trying to write a happy poem. But then I remember the rapid flashing of 90 bullets into the blurred image of another unarmed black man taken at the hands of the law. And I'm trying to write a happy poem. So I snuggle up closely with my dog and listen to the sound of his heartbeat. And then I think of how Jalen Walker doesn't have one anymore, but I'm trying to write a happy poem. So I listen to the coyote howl and the peacefulness of the night sky. I'm trying to write a happy poem, but I hear our city officials call for peace while police use a protester as a punching bag. I'm trying to write a happy poem, naively hoping that somehow enough good folks with a poem, or a song, or a mural, or a camera might defeat some bad guys with guns and badges. I'm trying to write a happy poem, but the canvas continues to be splattered in red. I'm trying to write a happy poem where justice wins in the end, where police are held accountable, where the system is changed, where I pull up my red hood and don my perfectly sized glass slippers and follow the breadcrumbs all the way to grandmother's house, where the porridge is not too cold and it's not too hot, because I'm trying to write a happy poem, but the wolf gobbles me up as the clock strikes midnight and my poem turns back into a pumpkin.
right, guys, let's give it up one more time for Keith Allison coming here from Canton, Ohio. That was good, Keith. That was good. All right, coming next to the stage, we have Miss CocoaWeaponry from Detroit. Woo! Can we clap her up to the stage? I don't even know how I'm gonna follow that.
Oh, you got this.
Thank you so much, Ingenuity Fest, for allowing me to be here and grace the stage without a typical passions. You are a force to be reckoned with. If you are not following this young lady on social media and plugging and connecting, you have to get in with her. So in my poetry, it's really heavy, and then sometimes it can be very light. But within a poet's life, you have to have that diversity. And what better place to have that diversity than here at the Ingenuity Fest? So I'm going to start this set with comedy. Theme is carnival. A carnival is an organized program of entertainment, traveling amusement. It could be a show or a circus. So in spoken word and poetry, it can be very light work, it can be very deep, and during this set, I appreciate you allowing me to take you on this brief emotional roller coaster of reality. Let's start. They rode a pirate ship over to the merry-go-round with a car full of clowns to hear a fat lady singing about a bearded woman who shot a lion tamer from a cannon to the cage cyclist who heard about it and ran over to the funny house to make jokes of it with the tallest man who saw everything. But he didn't hear about the sword swallower who choked on an elephant ear because the contortionist got bent out of shape when she heard her trapeze artist swinging from the chandelier. Wow. So here it is. This is when it gets very funny. So the artist was swinging from the chandelier with the tightrope girl and the eighth wonder of the world. What was going on? Many found and heard the sounds. It was peculiar, but it could be familiar. And then Ringling Brother got wind of it, and he talked to Barnum with Bailey, and they bought it. It was a circus. As far as Ringling, he was left dingling with a whole lot of stuff, and it was so wild. But now they just call it a sideshow carnival. Okay, that's that piece. Alright, so I have been professionally writing for 10 years, and my inspiration was my mother. Growing up in a household with 7 children, a mother and a father, you kind of get lost in the circle being a middle child. And there was a lot of things that I saw, a lot of things that I heard about that I did not understand, and it made me really angry. And so my mother said, write it out and figure it out. Sorry, can you hear me? I'm sorry. Thank you. And writing has always been that outlet for me. Amongst Langston Hughes, Nikki Giovanni, just a lot. So this one is going to be a heavy piece, and it's called Catcher's Mitt. What does the Empire, thank you, what does the Empire use to seize the fastball from the pitcher? That's this piece. Desperately seeking a way in or disparagingly looking for a win. All of the struggles in time past, she just wanted to figure out the maze cast to be found by a real one. No matter the trauma, the lies, and the endless efforts of defeat, wanting just that bad and just that sad to see all of these strategic attacks of an arson narcissist who had assisted those thoughts of genocide from the feminists in a race for a space that was emptying him for all eternity. He is unhealed, unwilled, unwanted. No one wanted him, and he knew it. He was unhealed, unwanted, wanted many to believe that it was them that was crazy. That's where the hidden deceit was present. For she, it became very clear. She saw it and she never fought it, thinking maybe this lion cub that is, who was verbally always pursuing this lioness, which instills the gazelle prance to a dance and game hunts game. Why though playing? Who's really slicker than grease as the unleashed, the untamed brain beast within a beater that beats pain, igniting some left-eye activity for this thing called love. She never glanced above the lie, she only lied in it to win it. Proceeds a tall tale of a failed truce, seduced and reduced a grown impersonating alpha male to a corner frying baby who didn't know at all, like a drop of water to a well, what was needed. L-O-V-E. He didn't believe in it. He couldn't even receive it himself. See, love is not exasperating. It's only resuscitating to those who get lost in it, trying to gain somebody who got lost. I guess we frozen. That's just how it goes in.
Another rewind. I recited all of that to say this. Many wish and they think that this piece is about them. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the inspiration for that piece was knowing a good friend of mine who was in a very toxic relationship with a narcissist. Only somebody who has played the game know how to catch that piece. Thank you. It's hard to get out, but it's even better to stay out. Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see, where are we going with this? Should we go to truth, should we go to numbers, or should we go to boring boys? Audience, talk to me. Boring boys it is. It's a trigger warning in this piece. Little boy blue, come blow your horn on sheep in the meadow and cows in the barn. He's alone because he died. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jumped over a candlestick. He probably got burned. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. He's hurt. Boring boys breed boring men. I heard that truth time and again, who play in harbors of water solitude and damage from within. No one person can actually pin when it all begins, like the crochet needles from the arthritic hands that wasn't there to come in and mend in prayers to the Almighty, the swears of all the broken pieces that those little eyes saw from all the broken men who left them and broken inside. Let's rewind it. Catch that. No one person can actually mend when it all begins, like the crochet needles of the arthritic joint who wasn't there to pinpoint and always come in and mend in prayers to the Almighty, swears to the little pieces from those little eyes, seeing all the broken men who broke them inside. Not like Humpty Dumpty who fell off the wall and cracked to pieces his hard exterior shell of something so fragile. You hear this tall tale, and many will say, oh well, they'll be okay. Now, to this day, a man has developed a sense of hungering from within the sin of room and boarding women, the meanest little dolls ever, into stockpiles of mannequins, China dolls, raggedy ants, porcelains, Barbies, and even corn stalkers who lay in wait to contemplate and assassinate all the man's drama from that little boring, boring boy who gave her to her mother and never gave her anything. Did you get that? How can this little Power Ranger fulfill a Wonder Woman who's been wondering and wondering what she will and will not do? Let the healing begin! Men, boys, feed you your strength and your courage too, your example to search and purge the unhealed trauma of a high-heeled mama who buried his waters by the docks of deceit. Faith follows the things heard, and I will ensue. Hey, little dudes, I see you, and I believe you love me. Within poetry, I usually take certain excerpts from the book I wrote years ago at a very young age, and not understanding publishing rights and copyrights. I'm the author of The Meanest Doubt Ever, a haiku saga, and within this book, each chapter was a stage in a woman's life from infancy, and it was the title. The first chapter was Baby Alive. It went from Barbie to Metal Barbie, Baby Alive. I'm nervous, that piece is emotional to me. All the way until the China Doll, Corn Stalkers, they all give excerpts in a woman's life and her experience, or anyone's life who has experienced being in relationships, and how these dolls still curve us as women when we grow older. We still play with dolls, mannequins at the store is really shy. We look at it, we want it, only because we saw it on something. So, thank you for that. My next piece, Angry Cow Poetry. We met over the internet, and it has been such a wonderful connection, and he allowed me to share this piece, amusing for the work that he does, and it's so phenomenal. For vegans and humans alike, we share the same kind of aspirations. So this piece is called Amusing. The written word is more powerful than the spoken word. So allow me to briefly entertain you with how some pain grew to fame a few. Out of all the games, who gains to be the biggest player of the play her? In a world where elephants in the room get ignored, guess who gets floored? Because I keep a crew of a few in my herd without ever saying a word. Strictly no elephants allowed, shouted the clown, and I'll yell right back. We all in this three-ring Barnum and Bailey, sometimes with cream, if you know what I mean. This circus called life has misconstrued, sued, and even bruised the character of her. The one who was to plague her, the never saved her, or the watch out for her. But she be the she who always got you. She be the she who already knew. She be the she who knew what was true. Well, who is the she? Who is the she that is said to be her? All that matters is that she has risen from within the earth to a chatter of a rebirth that demands impossible to stand and sting before a dignitary and a king. See, it was by a noble from the grace of God. With looks that are bold, walking in a pack of a herd of cotton stoles, the tones of that voice ain't never been unfold. Because you saw her before you heard her, and what you thought of her, you tried to silence her. And unbeknownst in the fun of a gun that's locked and loaded in her throat, all streets are cleared once that trigger is pulled. Because she is the GOAT, the spoken word. But honestly, she's just a little baby sheep shooting and killing lies and stories of truth and facts so others can get free. See, 68 books and 11 looks in this poised army. She be a general in a centerfold type of way. She just be fighting to do what is right in a centerfold type of way. See, she's full of the bleeds from that elongated tree that has bled for me. So who's playing her or is she playing them? So on all the world stages, the men and the women, they are merely players. They have their interests and their exits, and not one of them can say they have not played a part to the stampede of a deed, to a creed, and I'll be the she, the little seed in the dirt. Thank you. That's a heavy piece right there. I didn't get that one in a minute, but thank you for your patience. All right. So let's go to what's in a number. Sometimes people take calculations for granted. Without numbers and numericals, we would never know where we're going. So what's in a number? What's in a number? You brag you was her first. You sing that he was your worst. Now you say that you are the first to be his third love. He is the fifth to find your first love. Ha! What's in a number? A way to find numerical endings in the division to the ones that you had a slumber party with. Fractions of Y's and N's, yeses and no's. I guess that's how it goes. Can it be a sequel to equal the equation of an amazing story that multiplied to the sum of trigonometry? Trick on you and not me. What's in a number? Complex addition, wishing they was me. How abrupt, maybe even a little bossy. You. Yeah, you was the first that led to me because I was the number one who they said couldn't embroider that beater with the first real love from me. So what's in a number? Which calculation sums are you? Counting on pencil taps, below desk, finger laps, adding and subtracting dates, 30 for 9 ways, 170 ways, 24, however the algebra. It can lead to a Google, bruh. But sure sis, don't miss that number on the calendar, thinking of him or thinking of her. Why not just scale the weight? 1, 2, 3. It can cost you eternity. So I asked it, what's in a number? Thank you. All right, thank you so much. I just want to thank you all again, Ingenuity Fest. Oh my goodness, Temple of Passions. We also met over social media, and it has been an atomic bomb drop ever since. And I thank you so much for the honor to be here to grace the stage with such mega talent. So this last piece that I'm going to recite is called Truth. All right? Friends, countrymen, botanists, Tarzans, and Janes, Lend me your ears, for I came to bury lies and not spread them. As you camber in the amber of day, real eyes realize not to rely on all lines of deceit. I landed hand to hands, toe stands like a chimpanzee, swinging and slinging from that withered tree of life, not in the breeze of night, because I ain't never afraid of dawn's light, to actually see what's around me, the seas of beings, not actually being free. Why is that always plaguing me to look at that, to be that, and to feel that plea? How many ways can one tongue change the course of history into a misery of an intercourse intertwined to why me? Listen to what was seen. Listen, it's always ringing in my head. Listen to what? All I hear is dead silence from a million miles moving. Maybe if I take off these enemy beats that I've been dancing to, the beats and the warning yells from the enemy beatings, let's bury lie number one. I can hear. Let's bury lie number two. Is that what you said is that what you meant when you said, look out? Bury lie number three, emphasis. You can enjoy life. So as I stand with the camber, this road not crowded just from the bold, it's a sequential right, left, and then a repeat, a right, left, and then a repeat, because there's nobody trying to step on my feet or seal them in the depths of the cold concrete. Those monkey sounds. So I ask you to lend me your ears. In the jungle there are trees, and the highest is where you will find me, not mid-barking the lax, but up high with the silverbacks in this truth. Thank you. All the way from Detroit to Ohio. Absolutely amazing. I want to give a shout out to Cannon Shooter. His boys are here. They came to support me. My photographer, videographer. I am honored to be here. Mega talents. I don't know what else to say, but thank you so much. It was an honor.
All right, can we give it up one more time for CocoaWeaponry? That was a beautiful segment. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, coming next to the stage, we have Cleveland's own Autumn Marie. Can we clap her to the stage, please?
I didn't bring any paper to throw on the ground.
You didn't get the memo? Thank you, my friend.
How y'all doing today? I said, how y'all doing today? Like, I got a little energy. So, you know me, I'm Autumn Marie. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I am a poet. I like to sing, and I also host every second and fourth Wednesday at the B-side with the People Poetry Slam. So, that's why I need more energy, because at our slams, we like to have energy, okay? So, I'm going to do a few poems with you guys today. So, first, I'm going to start with something that I recently wrote that is near and dear to my heart. Anybody in here ever struggle with body dysmorphia? Anybody? No? Yes? So if you don't know, sometimes when I look in the mirror of my body, I don't see what everybody else sees. So this is dedicated to what I call my body, my temple. They say the body is a temple. Well, I believe it to be true because I've always had some intruder trying to take hold of my sacred place of worship. It started when I was a little girl. I had family take space in my fellowship hall and decided that the space was too small and I need to gain more worshipers in order to finally be a true place of worship. They didn't even give me the chance to decide if I even wanted to be this big of a place. Doctors entered the temple and they told me there was too much room to move around in here. Your temple has only been standing for 13 years, so you need to start small, don't think so big. Then after years dictating whether these Sunday services were too outlandish or not reaching enough people, I allowed myself so many descendants of Judas in the door that I stopped treating this church like it was sacred ground. I welcomed any man who showed me a sliver of praise. They didn't care if the building's as tall as the pyramid or as small as the tomb that Jesus rode out of. As long as they found comfort and coming in as they were, they came in. Then as I look around, I noticed my temple was being filled with blasphemy and sin. I no longer had to It honestly never has been. I gave up my rights to this place when I allowed everyone else to dictate my belief in my own vessel. But today I stand here and I say this is sacred ground. If you do not treat it right as such, you are not welcome in this place of worship. Only I conduct the service. Only I can write the good book of my womb. Only I can dictate what offerings will be brought to my altar. My body is for me to communion with. I no longer sacrifice my lambs for your salvation. You gotta do that in your own temple. This place is of heavenly worship, and I will judge you. You cannot come as you are. You gotta come correct, or don't come at all. I no longer break bread with foes who will be quick to destroy my property. This church don't fuck with sinners. My service is for saints and holy ones. My pastor will Bible thump you and make you feel undeserving of redemption, because this place is my body. It's my temple. Yes. Thank you. That one is very near and dear to my heart because it took me a while to actually write that. I'm not like a Christian, I'm very spiritual, to be honest, so I had to go back to my roots and figure out how I'm going to do that poem. All right. So I also like to do love poems in a way, so I'm going to do one that it's kind of a love poem, but it's more so like, let it go. If you love somebody enough, you need to let it go. So it's called The Art of Letting Go, and I held too tightly this time. I held so tight I didn't realize your hand was bleeding from my grip. I didn't realize the sores I created on my palm. I didn't even realize you were crying. I was so stuck in the thought of not letting you go that I didn't notice I hurt you and myself. You were trying your hardest to be released from this prison of my abandonment issues. I didn't even notice you weren't happy in it. I didn't even notice you were here. I thought we were both happy. I thought we both wanted the same things. I thought this was fun. My arm is so numb, I couldn't feel your resistance. Well, I'll release you now. Before you cut me off and before you cut off my arm and I'm left here with a snub, I will let you fly free. I won't continue holding on to this delusion anymore. I'll let you be. I do miss how in the beginning we both like holding hands and skipping in the tulips, but those flowers died a long time ago. I want them to bloom again, but in order to do that, I must learn the art of letting go. That's so short. I'm not gonna lie, my poems are not that long. I just get straight to the point. So so this next one is actually more of a love poem. I like to call this one Hey Love. Hey love, you pass me by every day with the brightest smile on your face. I can't help but to smile back even when I'm feeling low. Your smile is like a high I'm addicted to but can't even afford to keep up with at the moment. I'm working very hard to get the money to afford your presence daily. These little passing moments aren't enough for me anymore. I need to feel your sun kisses daily. I need to feel your breeze against my skin as I say hello back. The warm sensation from your touch against my chest. I want to hold you under a starry night. I want to walk with you, talk with you, laugh with you. I want to get to know you, love. I feel like I never got the chance to fully experience you as a whole. I mean, I'm just now realizing that I actually do need you in my life. I mean, I'm just now realizing I need you. I want to one day introduce you to another person like, hey, this is my close friend Love. Hopefully they join us and want to get to know you as well, but when I talk about you, other people think I'm crazy or delusional. They don't believe in you like I do. They'd rather be friends with this dude named Honey. I mean, he's cool, but he don't compare to you, Love. So I got a few more things I got to do before I can gain full access to you, but don't worry, because soon I'll wake up to you every day saying, hey, Grand Rising, Love. So this next one, it's not really a love poem. It's like an anti-love poem in a way. But it's about respect. You know, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, like our original says, respect. Okay, so this is called Respect My Rights. If loving you is wrong, then I don't want no parts of it. Oh, you thought I was gonna say I don't want to be right? No, sweetie, your fucked up ways to get you left. I'm not settling for a distress stress and mess, I'd much rather be alone in my sanity than letting a man-child make me go half crazy. I gotta say, oh. See, back in the day, your unhealed ego was accepted. But baby, this is 2022. We healed over here. So either you can hop in a DeLorean and go fuck up somebody's grandma mental, or get with the times and align your damn chakra so you can elevate to the God inside of you that you keep neglecting. The choice is yours. I'm not fixated on struggle love and I'm with you just because. I can't even settle my mind down to get a good night's rest. So why the hell would I settle for disloyalty, dishonesty, distractions, just a dude straight dissing me? Oh, because you're cute with a little money? Baby, that paper currency you got is the lowest frequency. And you gotta raise it up to get to your highness. And if you don't, you better raise out. Baby, I'm a Virgo. My own stomach can't even settle down at times, but I'm supposed to settle for any old dude with an unwashed ass that lusts after me. Nah. If the love is wrong, then I'm gonna continue being righteous. Then I'm gonna wait for the right one to come by and catch this tornado. This one is called Breaking the Curse. It's a poem I once dedicated to my mother because she did raise me a little different. You know, black mamas, they are very hard. She was hard, but she also knew how to apologize, which most black moms don't know how to do. So it's called Breaking the Curse. I am the daughter of a foster child who was the seed of a drug addict, and the daughter of a woman who left too soon from this earth. So she had to mother herself so she could mother me. She wasn't the average black mama in some ways, in other ways she was. But my mom, unlike others, would apologize to me when she was wrong. In most black households, it's the case of I said what I said. She allowed me to ask questions when I was unsure, but most black parents tell their kids stay out of grown folks' business. She actually sat with me during homework after a long day of work to make sure I understood what I was doing. While most black parents are too drained from the lack of energy that was sucked out of them by their oppressor. She let me express myself. She allowed me to be me. She allowed me to dress the way I want to dress. When most black parents say, under my roof, you're my child, so you do it my way. The reason she did these things is because she was not allowed to be her true self growing up. So she wasn't able to break the curse that bound us into slavery. Generational curses that separate the black community in each home. Generational curses that make black women and black men hate each other. Generational curses that make black men not show their emotions. Generational curses that make black children not want to reach for the stars. She said, not shoot my child. You will reach for the galaxy and beyond. Even with the darkness that she grew up with what she saw the light in each situation. And she knew, she had me and my brother, and she knew she would not let anyone dim our light. She broke generational curses, and I continue her legacy. Thank you guys. All right, so again, my name is Autumn Marie. If you guys want to, you can find me on IG at 96.otono. Otono is Spanish for autumn. Also, you can catch me, like I said before, every second and fourth Wednesday of each month at the People Poetry Slam on Coventry at the B-side. We actually have a show coming up on the 28th. I hope to see you guys there. Anybody want to be there? It's only $5. You come in. It starts at 6:30. If you want, follow my page. I will be posting about it. I will be there hosting, and y'all better get more energy than y'all gave today, because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna notice. All right. So thank you so much for having me up here. Thank you, Temple of Passions. This is a great opportunity. Shout out to all the talented people that came here today. Shout out to Coco. I love her, and I love you too. Thank you so much. And
all right, before we get to our final act, can we clap it up one more time for Miss Autumn Marie? Fantastic job. And lastly, coming to the stage is Mr. Adam Spells from Cleveland, Ohio. Clap him up to the stage, y'all. Woo!
So my name is Adam Spells. You can follow me on Instagram at lovenow_Adam Spells Poetry, or Facebook Adam Spells Poetry. So I've been writing for about a few years. I started writing as an outlet to release emotion instead of, like my friend, going outside and screaming.
It tends to work, but all my poetry is about me. Things that I've experienced, things that I go through, the way I view life after I go through those things. So I'm gonna get started. Black men, they've aged in a place they call the fountain of youth, wasted away years incarcerated, dreaming of what they become, punished for who the crooked system said they became. The judicial system said their form of unity is the shackles used in connecting inmates together. Stories in conjunction, current addict, ex-dealer, project warrior, their backgrounds forced them to be warriors, fights, fist to fist against their own dads. Now solo up against the gangs the little neighborhoods had a survivor. Now amongst bricks and steel, correctional officers, they don't help with the corrections. No peace offered or protection for those of my complexion. They just divide us up by color and crime. It's a setup, just like some of the communities, and only the strong will survive. Then you're given a number, you go into a database so you can always fit the description. Allow men to get brutalized and scarred mentally, just for chasing a little illegal, underhanded financial blessing. Locked up senselessly, hope they can just reconnect once read again and blend in environmentally, though crime has been committed. The system forgot that they were men, forgot that long ago Bill Clinton brought the dope right to the doorsteps, forgot long ago that Bill Clinton shut down jobs, 80% of black men held, pushed them to the pavement, aligned with the dope, murder over territory, filled up the city streets, that trapped the kings and King Kennedy. From Buckeye to Union, some built unions and organizations that communicated with walkie-talkies, visible guns, and homemade gang signs. They turned our landmarks into landmines. Placed cocaine in a place of emptiness. Placed heroin right in the small openings of our own neighbors' depression. Created public housing, squeezed us in like sardines and expected no retaliation, filled with aggression. May God bless them. They brought guns to our neighborhoods. They initiate the pain and the grief that fills these homes in our hoods. Yes, we are responsible for all of our own sins. But some of my friends, they ain't made minimum wage in years. You tell me, how does that help a man feed his kids without lack of sleep and confusing fears? Let it be down to the last and their family can't eat. He knows there's severe punishment for the drug money that's located in the alleyways and the streets. You know, with an innocent and the iPhone video making for war star, crime scene tape, prayers and visuals, they all meet. My black brothers pray at night too. The answers of silence causes the mind to go violent. A man needs help or he will go back to the drugs and the violence. What does he do if he's educated and he still ain't ate for days? Of course he gonna go back to the gutter. Of course he gonna go get it how he live. Of course he won't shed no tears when the judge hands down years for the crimes that he's did, but inside he's just broken. With a motto in his mind and his heart. But guess what? Crime pays when there ain't no job openings. I used to do some poetry slamming a while back. And it didn't work well for me. And one time I went to Detroit and I got slaughtered. I rode all the way back home like, I ain't doing this poetry no more. It's over with. Done. Get it? Can't do it. I'm done. But I ended up writing this poem that is my favorite poem. It is Adam Spells. It is me. And it is called Sometimes I Do. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do that for y'all.
Do that,
Adam. Sometimes I do. I get beside myself, feeling sorry for myself, expecting a certain recognition for my position. Though I work hard at developing these intriguing lines, sometimes there are no finger snaps and no hand claps after the performer, me, takes the stage and gives about the pain that he's been through. Sometimes I see strangers in the crowd, and yes, there's a disappointment from seeing no familiar faces as I feel the spaces of beating hearts and thoughtful minds. It only pushes my pen further across tear-stained notebook lines, and eventually I'll write something astounding and beautiful and surprising and loving as Barack Obama's letter to the family of Nipsey Hussle, continuing in this marathon of competitions and features and openly using the mic to share how the poetry has been the blood in my veins. It's just a voice inside me, described as a gift, something shareable, immeasurable, worth value and shines bright as a mother's smile, staring at her child. But somehow I got lost trying to win over supporters and forgot my original purpose. To share how the poetry revived my mental energy, just from the memorization of the very lines I've had written, called redemption through reliving, not so they can say that I had bars or I was spitting, so they know that surviving and cleaving amongst racism and unfair wages and late night gun wars that often explode and end in a black man dying or a black family losing are so real that I put it all on paper. And mark history with dates frozen in memory, like the t-shirts we make that represent our fallen, or all the times I got off my knees, praying for strength to move forward, drawing energy from God and the sun. And yes, with every ink pen stroke, I do continue moving forward. I mean, sometimes I do.
Woo! I'm fighting now.
Get lost in these words. Some derive from depression, some derive from my own grief. But this poetry, it says that I've overcome, and I'm not done. I love when others listen. Perhaps I am a storyteller, a walking, talking reenactment of the events that enclosed me inside my sanctuary when my first cousin died in a house fire. It's amazing. It's ironic. Even in the midst of death, we are drawn what we aspire to be. He went further in the house to save the kid, a selfless act, a hero. So now I walk and I talk and I spit this poetry to my writer face and an audiences to let them know that inside you are all heroes. And sometimes this poetry, it be like holy scripture. Recited out loud is self-healing, or transmitted to the heavens to say, Mama, I still love you. Trayvon, we ain't forgot you. Sandra Bland, I'm still saying your name. We, or should I just say me, represents black lives that matter. Or all the young blood of our young black men who have been spilled on these pavements that have seen decades and decades of disaster. I write about them caskets. I write to share with the world, despite your failed goals, despite that failed hope, that inside you have the ability to heal yourself with your own written words. So,
Yeah.
woo!
Let's go.
I put my all into this when I do this, because it's not for me. I saved my own life with poetry, so I vow to save others' lives with my poetry. And I'm gonna do this last piece. I don't normally like to read, but you see I got it all wrapped up nice and tight.
Sometimes be like that.
How many of us had to ask for help? And it's like, you know, you be in a situation, you may or may not believe in God, that's not my concern, I do. But I've had to ask for help a lot of times to get myself out of a lot of situations. You know, I thought the weed was gonna help, I thought the drink was gonna help, I thought this was gonna help, and it didn't help. When I asked God for help, it helped. That's what got me here. By definition, the word non-entity, it is described as something that does not exist or exists only in the imagination. And I once related that as personal. I didn't believe in being helped. Though willing to give my last shirt and my last dime to a stranger and or friend, it felt like success would never have an existence in this life of mine. My mental health issues never confronted. Only through my poetry, then dismissed. I needed help. Marijuana is great, yet it is a mind-altering drug, and I realized through a clouded lens how much clearer my vision could be if I only trained my body and my mind to not be so dependent upon the weed, but I needed some help. See, as people, we create outlets to only let go of what we feel we do not need. We make excuses as to why we keep around the anger and the grief like selected friends. We keep ourselves in danger. We remind people of our hardships that we've been through when they ask us why you're still bitter. Internally, we suffer from lack of love, but the ones who love us, who steer us, firmly in the right direction, guess what? They're the last ones to receive text messages and phone calls. We drown ourselves in the bottom of alcoholic bottles, doing clear damage to our brown skin, but the celebration or lack thereof of any accomplishment has always been a part of our culture, so we look the other way when we see the alcohol tendencies erupting. Many of us spend so much time alone, not trusted too many times before, never realizing no partner is as or ever will be loyal as God. I understand the doubt. My mom was an ordained minister, groomed and molded by a well-respected pastor. My father also was an elder, and still with all that upbringing, I strayed away. So I understand when you ask why it's so hard to have something so small as a mustard grain seed of faith. In the face of tragedy, to lose can make you feel hopeless, like chasing blowy winds. But just as there is darkness, guess what, y'all? There also, too, is divine light. The toughest don't always win. The weak ain't always the ones that's crying. It's the strongest ones who fall, never give up, and keep on grinding. So listen, I've cried 1,000,000 times. Some days I felt as every tear has scratched the pavement in vain, but God bottles them up, you know. He loves you now. I had to learn to love me now. I had to learn I can't find things that I've lost. Redirecting, reconnecting, self-respecting. It starts with loving yourself now through the hardships, because no one can do it for you. We pray and we believe that all things will manifest. They don't change. They don't change when we turn on the TV. And the media puts color and racism in the front part of the news as if there are no stories of overcoming and achievement left for us to hear. But guess what? I am standing right here in front of you. The motivation. It won't be in the talk show, a 30-minute page segment telling you that your credit card is the only thing standing in your way of that divine light. You can be anywhere in the world without money, without credit card, and your story can help somebody else become an overcomer and an achiever if you just take one moment and drop to your knees and ask for God's help. So, professionally, my time is up. But I just wanted to share this last name with y'all. I'm just so grateful to get a chance to tell our story. There is no payment that can supplement that joy. There is none. So I hope that us artists who bared our souls today have given you something to go home with. And I want to leave you with this. Love now. Love now means to look past grudges, to look past pain, to look past hardships and love someone. That person that you ain't talked to in 6 months, you better call them. That person that you ain't forgive for petty stuff, you better call them. Because tomorrow ain't promised. But loving someone is easy. Good night.
All right, y'all. Well, that was our set. Can we give it up one more time for the poets? They all did amazing. Wow. All right. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. If you want to see more, please follow us on all social media at Temple of Passions. Thank you.
All right.
That's a brand new phone.
It's a video.